Live from the local station, this is Weather Authority Weekday.
Hello, it's hump day. It's Wednesday. Welcome to the Weather Authority Weekday Show. I am meteorologist Michelle McCormick, and check it out. Who don't want to be here? I want to be there. It's so beautiful. It's frozen at the moment, but once it gets put into motion, it freezes every now and then because it's a live camera. It's a really beautiful day. However, high tide is rolling in and you can see all the seaweed that's just been churning up from all the winds coming on shore and how just messy the water is right now. Of course, the surfers love it, but for regular beachgoers, the water remains extremely hazardous. So let's talk about why. All right, high rip current risk. This is the statement. It lasts until the 9th, which is, let's see, today's the 8th, right? Help me?
Correct.
Yep. Okay. Tomorrow at 5 a.m., supposedly. I think the rip current risk statement will stay in the high rip current risk range because we have another nor'easter rolling in, and that's just going to help to continue bringing in those onshore winds, and some even coastal flood watches might go into effect. I just heard from the National Weather Service. So for Northeast Florida beaches in the teal here on the radar, that's the rip current risk high zone, and then the rip current risk moderate zone is in the Georgia Golden Isles. So still pretty hazardous, dangerous conditions. If you're not a strong swimmer, you definitely don't want to go in the water and do some swimming, but if even moderate rip current risks and sweep away strong swimmers. So extra caution through there. Now, the green area on our radar is indicating the coastal flood advisory, which lasts until 8 o'clock tonight, which again will likely be extended and could even become a coastal flood watch later in the week as a nor'easter starts to settle in, bringing in again those onshore winds, which help to rise the tide. And once the tide rises, that's where we see those tidal flooding. It's not from rain. Our flooding's not because of the rain, it's because of those high tides. And the extra water that we have, it doesn't help, but it's really those high tidal flows that we're keeping a close eye on. But also on the radar here, some light showers moving through the area. It looks like through St. Augustine and areas south of St. Johns County into Flagler County. So just if you encounter a very slight storm, they're gonna move on. But for the majority of us, we're gonna stay on the nice side of sunny and warm today on this Wednesday. All right, Doctors Lake Marina, this camera is always a good indicator on where we are seeing those tidal floods. And that is here along the St. Johns River in Clay County. And already as the tide's rolling in, which I think is around noon, high tide, you can already see the water coming up the boat ramp. And if you've been watching us over the past several days, we've been showing this parking lot literally underwater during high tide. And then it goes back out, and then it comes back in. And then it goes back out, and then it comes back in. Kind of like what a tide does, right? Monday was also a full moon, which didn't help because it brought in those astronomical high tides as well. Okay, so what have we got for you coming right now? I have wind speeds across the area. So you can see the wind speed arrows coming in from the north and from the east, and 10-mile-per-hour winds at Orange Park right now. That's probably NAS-JAX. And then Mayport is at 11, Airport at 7. We were under a nice thick fog this morning. And then gusts, not even that bad. I mean, the gusts will start to enhance over the next several days as well. And we have a cold front coming in too. If you look on this, you can almost see the cold front line through that graphic. We'll get there in a second. All right, Morningstar Marina, always a good camera to indicate the winds, the flag flying high and proud. All right. Here's what we're talking about on Futurecast. Breezy conditions along the beaches, and then through Wednesday afternoon, those breezy conditions will stick around, but you can see almost, now I don't have the cold front on this map, but you could almost see it coming through. It was that line right there a little while ago, and then it's that line of showers right through there. So our rain chances will definitely increase on Thursday into Friday. Those are going to be the 2 rainy days this week along with this cold front. And then the cooler air will sink in behind it as we move Friday, Saturday, even into Sunday. But thankfully this rain will mostly break apart. And of course, that's just one of many models that we use to give you our latest forecast, Futurecast. All right, let's talk tropics. At 8 o'clock this morning, Tropical Storm Jerry still just hanging out here moving west-northwest at 23 miles per hour. The new track will come out just after 11 o'clock. We'll update it on our website, news4jax.com. Expected to become a Category 1 storm by Friday morning at 2 a.m. And then look at that, taking that nice right-hand turn. We like to see that. Move to the east and stay east of Bermuda. Man, they have been dodging bullets all season long, and some just getting way too close for comfort. Now, what this means for us is rip currents, of course, will continue because water has to displace somewhere, and when it displaces, it moves west and it hits our borders and along the coast and brings in some of those rip current risks. Again, we just cannot break away from those rip current risks this season. And then here's the models, all very much in agreement to make that nice easterly turn. And then we're also keeping an eye on an area in the Gulf, the very southern part of the Gulf. Now, the area there at the bottom of your screen in red, let's talk about that for a second. That's the Pacific side, and they have had quite the crazy season, most recently Hurricane Priscilla. I, in theory, think they're drawing out a lot of the Gulf energy, if you will, but this little blob of yellow is a disorganized set of storms with a barely minimal 10% chance of development over the next 2 to 7 days. Just going to be bringing in some rain to the Yucatan Peninsula, perhaps even into Brownsville at the border of Texas and Mexico, but not a factor for us whatsoever. So here's the wider tropical weather outlook, and you can see this is over the next 7 days, and you can see Jerry as a hurricane well out to our east. So good news on the tropical front. Again, we'll update that for you coming up at 11 o'clock. All right, here's the airport. Much nicer view than we saw just a few hours ago, completely socked in with some dense fog this morning. And then we will start to see that really improve. It's already starting to burn off, and we look forward to having sunny skies at the airport. Temperature is 78 degrees. Our average for this time of year is right around 84. And our average in the morning is right around, I want to say 69. We've been warmer in the mornings, and in the afternoons, we've been a little bit on the cooler side of average. Well, today we're going to be way up there. We're looking for a high of 87 degrees today. And check out your pool planner with these partly cloudy skies. Lots of sunshine today. Bring out the sunscreen. And the heat index will be feeling like that mid-90s today with the humidity. But 87 is what we're looking for as far as our high temperature is concerned. Maybe some upper 80s out west near I-10 and in our southern zones, as well as in southeast Georgia. So yeah, enjoy it for now, because these temperatures are surely going to make a change. Now, tomorrow morning, we're still seeing temperatures in the upper 60s. We could possibly even have dense fog in the morning as well, with light winds going into tomorrow, but that cold front's going to start to increase our winds, as well as that nor'easter-like effect that we're going to have going into the next several days. So 7-day forecast shaping up like this. Today, 87, tomorrow, the high only 82. But then look what happens. Once that cold front pushes out and the winds start to increase, our temperatures barely have a hard time getting out of the upper 70s. What? It's October. Yeah, it's going to feel like fall. It's about time. And we're ready for it, I think. But don't get too used to it, because even though the morning lows are going to be in the low 60s, which is below normal, as well as our highs below normal, look what happens on Tuesday. Mostly sunny skies, temperatures rebounding right back to where they should be. And we took a peek. Chris, our new meteorologist, and I took a peek earlier today, and perhaps 90s even returned to our forecast. What? I didn't say that out loud, but we could see it by the middle of October, which is actually a week from today. So that's all we have for you today for the Weather Authority weekday show. Totally appreciate you checking in with us today and keeping up to date with all your weather. If you ever want to us to talk about something specific, just send us an email at weather@wjxt.com. We all see it, Richard and the whole team, and we will be happy to answer your questions right here on our News4JAX Plus weather stream every day at 10 a.m. Have a great day. We'll see you back here at noon.
See why every day more people are choosing News4JAX, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.